The challenge for British Columbia, following the Canada-US Free Trade Agreement and the NAFTA, Canada needed to somehow figure out a way to have internal free trade. An agreement on internal trade was struck by all provinces and the federal government in the mid-90s. British Columbia found it wasn't working. It was hard to read. It was a huge, thick document. So we flipped it on its head and said, okay, instead of listing everything that's covered, let's cover everything and simply identify what we're not going to cover.
The Trade, Investment, Labor, Mobility Agreement that we signed with Alberta back in 2006, if my memory serves me right, was actually a breakthrough piece of interprovincial relationships building. Don White was absolutely instrumental in making that agreement come into play.
I think Don has helped improve the capacity that the British Columbia government has, frankly, with regard to trade policy. He's helped shape a number of initiatives that have rolled out and where British Columbia has been seen as a leader. And Don can take a well-deserved bow for many of the things that British Columbia is recognized as a leader in when it comes to economic development and trade.
It's really his work that was so vitally important in terms of organizing the various sectors into little groups and also understanding their industries. Often when you ask people their opinion, they'll give you the one side of the picture. And Don was invaluable because he knew both sides of the picture.
Don had the ability to work with the minister in the minister's office in a way that he was providing good information, but he was also a great listener to try to get the feedback that he was looking for. I think his legacy will be one of setting an example and setting the bar pretty high.
The number of trade negotiations, First Nations negotiations, all those things had one thing in common, and that was to make the provincial economy as competitive and sustainable as possible. And I got to be part of that. That was hugely rewarding.
The civil service should be comprised of the best and the brightest, and I think Don represents that as well as anybody I've worked with in the civil service. And I've had lots and lots of people who I think really make a difference, and I think Don really exemplifies the characteristics that I admire so much.